Hello everyone, welcome to Real Raw Reviews with Nettie and Ian. Welcome back. It's been a while since I've recorded some videos. I've been super busy, but I managed to fit in time for reading. So again, if you're new here, welcome. This is a YouTube channel, booktube channel rather, that myself and my son like to talk about different books that we have read and just different things we have going on with reading, really. So I want to just talk about a couple of books I recently read. So I'm gonna start with this one. Finally got it from the library. I think this is the 22nd book, right? It's 22 books basically. I think it is time for James Patterson to end the Women's Murder Club series. It's been a little while, but I honestly feel like Lindsay, Claire, Cindy, Joe, all of them, it's just time for everybody to rest their nerve. It wasn't a bad book, but I do feel that there are parts of the story that kind of just drag on and it could have been shorter. I mean, I'm giving it 4 out of 5 stars because it's James Patterson. I mean, it was a decent story. You hear a lot lately that he's not writing his own books. He has a ghostwriter, this and that. I will say with reading this and then earlier works of James Patterson, definitely. And the only way that you really know is because of, if you're a huge reader of his, a fan of his work, you can tell the difference with how they changed the point of view, because there were like 1 to 2 chapters where the point of view changed completely off from what it should have been. Like, I know how he write, like you would think we best friends, and it was just like, why is this a third person point of view? It should have never been a third person point of view, in my personal opinion. And I don't know if that meant to take place, meant to happen or not, but it did and it shouldn't have. So I think it's time to let this series go. Again, a decent read, wasn't one of my favorites. If you have never read any of James Patterson's work, I definitely say start with his earlier works. I've been reading James Patterson since I was like 11, 12. I read Big Bad Wolf, I read Kiss the Girls, Roses Are Red, I read Violets Are Blue. Man, there's so many books that I've read. Check out the Alex Cross series. I'm actually starting the Alex Cross series over. I read the first book to his Alex Cross series earlier this year. I plan on starting that back up to read the entire Alex Cross series, which he actually has started with his son now. So I'm very interested to read that. So again, 4 out of 5. It kind of drug on. So this how I say to that. This is my next read. I checked this out from the library as well. Death of the Black Widow. So I plan on starting this book and seeing how this one is. So I will definitely keep you all updated. I checked these books out from the library. This is a newer book, so I'm definitely looking forward to reading this one. So that's what I have going on with James Patterson. Then I recently read on my handy dandy Kindle. Let me tell you guys what I read. It's called Phantom Limb by Lucinda Berry. And let me show you guys the picture. If it loads, hopefully. This is my Kindle. I do only every blue moon get books off of here based upon how much it is. So this book I purchased for $1.99 off Kindle. Overall, it was a decent read. So Phantom Limb by Lucinda Berry. Okay, you see the cute little bear. Psychological thriller. It is, there are a couple of different triggers, I will say that. Sexual assault, rape, things of that nature. So regarding children, so I will let you know that trigger. But overall, a great read. I read this book in less than 24 hours. It was really good. A plot twist. Talking about a plot twist. Listen, I can't even. I was just like, oh, no, you didn't. Read it. There were different parts of this that also, where I'm at, let me just make this disclaimer, where I'm at with the reading, there are certain things that can be left out of a book, okay? We don't have to go into huge detail, colors, all the description, all of that. We could just let that go. That's my personal opinion. But definitely a great read. It was a quick read. It was maybe not even 200 pages, if that, but it was really a good book. So I recommend this book to anyone who has not read it. A great book. I also have some books by Brandon Massey on here that I want to read. It's called Nana and the Quiet Ones. So those are on my TBR to get read at some point before the end of the year. So if you don't have a Kindle, they come in handy. Again, I only look on here every blue moon when it comes to Amazon and check out their Kindle books to see if there's anything under $3 I will purchase, because otherwise I'm going to my library. I just don't believe in buying expensive books. I will wait for a book for a very long time to be out before I purchase it, because it's gonna have to drop down to under $12 before I buy a book. That's why I shop thrifting a lot with my books. So those are the recent fiction reads. I am currently reading, also, I read multiple books at one time, don't judge. I am currently reading John Maxwell, 21 Indispensable Qualities of a Leader, a phenomenal read. I'm reading this 1 to 2 chapters at a time due to the fact that I like taking in what is being said, the takeaways, and then trying to incorporate them in my own day. So this is really good. Anything by John Maxwell is phenomenal. If you have not, definitely look into his books. His books are truly amazing. They have definitely been a blessing into my life over the last 7-8 years. I've been reading his books now. The very first one I read was How Successful People Think, and that was phenomenal. I've also read How Successful People Lead. I can't even tell you, like, I've read so many of his books that have stuck with me. So definitely check into this one. This actually is really good with what I'm doing right now with my current role, with my new position at my job as a trainer. So being able to lead and having different qualities, I think, are really key. And this can also be applied to everyday life. There are some key points that he talks about that can be taken away and can be used in your everyday life. So check out this book. Lastly, this one has been very good to me. 7 Spiritual Laws of Success by Deepak Chopra. If you remember a previous video I did on creating affluence that I recently read by him, phenomenal. He talks about affluence in here. He talks about just the different laws of success. And there are certain parts that I feel it drags on as well. I am one where I like getting to the point and keeping it moving. So that's where I'm at with a lot of my books that I'm reading, but it's still full of knowledge. I apply a lot of this to things in the Bible, especially the law of giving, which was the second law that he has talked about, because I think a lot of the scripture that talks about whatsoever a man sows, he reaps. And that can be applied in any way, shape, or form in life. You know, we can't just sow financially. We have to sow love, kindness, patience. You know, that goes back to, of course, again, just being able to sow more than just it's the fruit of the spirits. We should be able to sow more than finances to people. We shouldn't just give money. And he talks about that we should basically pour into people the way we want people to pour into us. You know, each day, you know, give somebody a compliment, say a prayer for somebody, being nice to somebody. So sowing the fruits of the spirits. He doesn't talk about the fruits of the spirits, but that's how I relate to it, because I know the Bible. So with the Bible, I'm not gonna say I know the Bible, but there are parts, bits and pieces of it. So when we have the different fruits of spirits in us, we should sow that to people. We should give that back to people, because what we give in turn comes back to us. I look at just my life and how blessed I am, and not even realizing that a lot of these I already do. Now, the first one I struggle with. That one is the law of pure potentiality, basically sitting in stillness, sitting in quietness. I'm always on go, always. At nights, I have music playing 25/8, like you name it. At work, music in my ear, you know, that's how I function, that's how I move. But I think this is a really, really good book. I highly recommend it to people. Personal growth, business, prosperity, however you want to look at this book here. You can even put it in so much as, in my personal opinion, I feel that it can also be put into the religious realm per se, if you read it in comparison with the Bible. That's why I say that. there are different parts of it, again, that do relate heavily to me with the Bible. So all in all, a great read, 5 out of 5. Excuse me, 5 out of 5. We're gonna check on this death of the Black Widow, so stay tuned for those videos. Has anybody been reading anything new? What, you guys give me some recommendations. I do take recommendations on books. I do like to read other genres. I read everything, with the exception, I do not read like romance, like y'all know romance I'm talking about. I don't read that. I'm not big on urban these days, urban fiction. I'm not big. I'm kind of out of that stage as well. So definitely give me some recommendations. I know school's starting back, a couple more weeks for mine to go back. I'm so excited. And we still reading, you know, so we're both on our reading challenges. I'm a little behind on mine, but I'm still getting my reading in, and that's what's important. So I thank you all for tuning in. Thank you for just continuing watching, whether you're sharing it or letting other people know that, hey, I know somebody that likes to read and they talk about different books. I appreciate it. So thank you all for tuning in to Real Raw Reviews with Nettie and Ian, and stay tuned